Hello, you are tuned in to Eric Jose on Doctor Who on YouTube. Here we will cover pretty much anything Doctor Who, spin-off shows from Doctor Who itself, old Doctor Who, anything goes, anything at all, people. I will talk about all kinds of Doctor Who here with you. So if you have any comments, questions, anything that you just want to just talk about or, ask me a question about, because I do have an extensive history with Doctor Who. I've seen pretty much everything that's available. So, like I said, I encourage feedback and comments and questions, so please do so. And I just wanted to introduce you to my friend here, Minnie Handles, who will be in my videos with me. Hello, everybody. We're here today talking about the new episode of Doctor Who, Knock Knock. So we see in this episode, Billy is getting together with some of her college mates there, and they're going to get a place together, obviously, so that it's more affordable for them as college students, because they're not, flush with cash, as it were. So they're going around and they're finding all these places, and either they're really imperfect places where some of the bedrooms don't have a door because it's a room that you walk through to get to even more bedrooms and things like that, and then some of the bedrooms are literally just closets, like you're living like Harry Potter on Privet Drive, essentially. But anyways, so they're seeing a lot of these imperfect places, and then they finally get shown one place that looks kind of big and kind of nice or whatever, but it's right next to this like factory where it's got these horns and whistles that are probably gonna be blowing all the time and highly annoying. And anyway, so what it ends up happening is they come out of one place, and there's this older gentleman there who comes up and asks, "Oh, hey, are you guys looking for a place to stay?" And that's kind of where it starts, because then he leads them over to this. It's basically a mansion, and so they got plenty of room, and that's not a big problem. And there's a tower on it, and they keep asking about the tower, and he says, "Oh, no, the tower is off limits. It's not. It's off limits. It's not for the for tenants to go in." So which they all just kind of like, whatever, okay, fine. So because they're all so happy that they're all getting like these really huge, nice sized bedrooms and a pretty big house. And so anyway, it turns out the doctor shows up to help her move, and when he gets there, he notices something weird, and so he won't leave, and that gets kind of funny because Billy Potts is really wanting him to leave, of course. She's like, she feels like it's embarrassing that he's there, embarrassing her in front of her new friends and everything. But they seem to like him, but she's just getting so, embarrassed by him being there and everything, and he's trying to let her know that there's something wrong, and she's not listening. She's not having it, as it were. So he ends up staying there, and so what ends up happening is that this old guy actually they get down into the basement, the doctor and one of the kids eventually, and they find the belongings of other 12 other people, 6 from 20 years ago and 6 from 40 years ago. Like all these belongings just left down there. So they also find contracts with the names of all the people that belong to who all the stuff belonged to. And so the doctor's basically putting it together, and that it's every 20 years that this happens. And so eventually the old guy comes down there. The doctor convinces him, hey, well, let me take a look at, because this is all because the old man is trying to save who he's been referring to as his daughter. And the little wood bugs or wood mites that are all in this mansion and the trees around it are able to help keep his daughter from dying. So the doctor says, well, take me to her. Maybe I can help her. There's a chance I can help her. I'm a doctor. So, he ends up taking the doctor up to her, and, Billy's already there talking to the daughter. And as the doctor's sitting there riffing, trying to figure out what's going on and diagnose, as he says, he makes a theory that doesn't make sense, and Bill's like, wait, that doesn't make sense. And he's like, oh, hey, wait, look, I'm doing what I do here. Just, cut me some slack. And she's like, but that doesn't make sense. She's like, he's, number one, he's older than she is. And guess what else? He's not wood. He's like us. And the doctor turns around and figures it out. He's like, oh. So it turns out that he's actually her son. That he's just been, for the last, 70 years or whatever, he's been helping to, every 20 years he goes out and finds 6 people to come in so that the house can, and these bugs can make them part of it,
so that they can then shift it back into his daughter, his mom / daughter. So they are regenerating her image and most of the things about her. But what you start to learn by the end of the episode is that she's a lot of what made her is now gone. These bugs are really only good at capturing some of the memories and whatever, and the voice and the image. And she's made of wood. His mom, by the way, this mom / daughter, she's actually made out of wood. These wood mite things have remade her, and they preserve her as like a wooden figure that can move and walk around. And so by the end of the episode, she basically discovers, well, she's the mother. The doctor points that out to her. You're the mother. You're in charge here. And that's the way it turns out. She's able to control the bugs. And so when her son tries to attack the doctor and Billy with the bugs, she stops it. She controls the bugs and brings them over, and she has the bugs eat up essentially her and her son to bring an end to it, because she doesn't want to cause anybody else any more suffering or pain. Especially for a life where she can't even leave that tower, because that's where she was. She was in the tower of that mansion. So, anyways, that's long. That's how it goes. So all the friends that had gotten eaten by the wood over the course of the episode get released from the wood, because that's her last act while she's dying. Her final act is to push everybody that had been consumed that day back out, so that everybody lives, and yay. So so then we move on to the really interesting bit, because after that we now get the doctor going and visiting with the going down and visiting with the vault that we've been seeing at the end of these last few episodes. We've been seeing the doctor and Nardole interacting with this vault. And so the doctor goes down there. He brings Chinese food or whatever it is, Mexican food. I can't remember which one it was, but anyway, brings down the food, tells Nardole to go away. And Nardole finds out that the doctor had put a piano in the vault, and you're still wondering who's in there. And I've started to think about it now. I don't know if it's the Valeyard. I'm thinking because of the season 2 trailer that I've seen, and I know that the Master is going to be reappearing. I'm thinking it's probably the Master in there. That the Time Lords have charged the Doctor with being the custodian of the Master, and this is not far out, because this has happened before. They've done this to the Doctor before. In the Millennium Special, at the beginning, we see Sylvester McCoy, the final Doctor from the original series. He is in the TARDIS, and they're traveling and whatever, and what we find out is he's transporting the remains of the Master to somewhere, and he's become the custodian of them, whatever. But what happens is the Master does something. He's able to, some black magic, he gets out of the little case that's supposed to contain his ashes. He's able to do something to the TARDIS, causes it to essentially kind of crash, and that ends up causing Sylvester McCoy to regenerate, and he gets taken to the hospital and all these various things. So, and then the Master ends up getting into the body of somebody, and he's able to, he's like a snake, kind of like he climbs in through their mouths like a black snake or whatever, and he's able to change bodies like that and stuff like that. Anyway, that's one of the ways the Master came back, because he never ever dies. He always comes back in very interesting ways. But so that's what they had kind of done then. They had Sylvester McCoy / Paul McGann acting as the custodian there, and so it's not far out for them to have, for the Time Lords, I think, to have put the Master into the Doctor's custody, because they didn't want to have to deal with him. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking might be happening there, but it may be that the Valeyard may have been involved in it. The Valeyard may have been part of the court proceedings where the Doctor got charged with looking after the Master. Then again, I don't know. I mean, the doctor now would know who the Valeyard is, and if he would recognize the Valeyard if he saw him. But we'll have to see what happens. I mean, obviously, we know that the show is tossing the idea of the Valeyard around, and I really do want to see him myself. I, was thinking that the Valeyard might have been what was in the vault, that the Doctor was trying to, prevent the worst sides of himself from polluting the universe, or something like that. But I don't know. So it's a fun episode, and then at the end of this episode, we see the Doctor opening the vault, and then it ends. So kind of leaves us waiting for the next one. Can't wait to see what's in there. So anyways, that's about it, people, for this Doctor Who, and for this episode of Doctor Who, episode 4, Knock Knock. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe.